It's 1 o'clock on Thursday, and I've just tacked for the first time in 2 days. The top right over here is the Azores, and that's me down there, and the red track is what I have been doing. And then if you look at the direction I was going in, which is this red line, so I was going this way, and here is a hole in the wind. There's only half a barb on that, so it's 4 or 5 knots of wind, so I'd barely be able to sail at all. At the moment I've got about 10 knots of wind and I'm still doing 4 or 5 knots boat speed. So if I zoom in, bang, 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 and put it back on the boat, if you see through the night the wind changed. We were staying above that blue line, and the wind changed. I had the boat set to steer by the wind, so we were steering at 40 degrees to the wind, and as the wind changed so did we, and we were still going quite close to the blue line here, which is where we want to go, until first thing this morning the wind changed again, and then we're going almost due west. And due west of here, if we kept on going, is that hole with no wind in it. So what I've done is I've tacked, and we're now going just west to north, and this is the hole over here, and what I'm doing is going up in this direction here to find these winds, and they're about 10 hours, 15 hours away, and then if you can see over here the wind goes due west, and at that point I'll be able to sail more or less straight at my line again. So for the time being I'm sailing sort of 20 degrees north, 20 degrees off north to find the wind. Take me a while to make that decision. Never done anything like that before, but I don't want to sail into this hole here where there's no wind at all, so I'm taking a detour up this way to find some wind. I've just shifted my dinghy back onto this side, which is now the upside of the boat, put all the weight there. And I changed the valve in the water tank for 20 minutes, so the water drained from that tank over to this tank, which is now full. So I've put all the weight I can on the upside of the boat, as before it was the other way around. Now if we have a look outside, another nice Atlantic June day. As usual, there's not a lot to see out there. Saw a couple of jellyfish. I'm going to take you back to the nav station here, back to the captain's cockpit. Down here you see we're doing 5.6 knots. A bit wrong, but yeah, about 20 degrees off north. And if you see on here, we're sailing at, I've asked her to sail at 29 degrees off the wind. We're actually doing 26, so that's brilliant. 24 degrees off the wind. This will be us for the next day. We'll stay at this angle, and the wind should slowly bend us round in this direction until we end up pointing at the Azores again. Well, that's the plan. Like I say, I've been trying to work that out for a day or so, but the final decision was I don't want to sail into that hole where there isn't any wind and get becalmed. And there's slightly stronger winds, meaning I can point the boat higher into them. So I've decided to turn north now, even though I'm sailing more off course than I was on my last tack. I was sailing closer towards my target on the last tack, but I was sailing into that area of no wind. So we'll see what the next 10, 12, 15 hours happens with the wind, as to whether that was the right choice or not. So 3 lines out, no fish today, but I'm hoping for one of those yellowfin things that I saw yesterday. It might be a lampuki, but a bit of fresh fish would be nice. Alright guys, I'll talk to you again 12 hours or so when we see what this wind does. Cheers. So, I finally caught my fish. Not the biggest one in the world, but for one person, perfect, eating size, and it'll fit in the fridge. So that's quite good. Take me 4 days of trawling. Oh, but there we go, a nice bonito, about £1 or so. And that's yeah, dinner tonight. Well, good afternoon. It's Friday, 15th of June, and it's just past noon, and we're doing really well. Oh, the whole thing just jumped. Wait on. I'll bring that back. The course, if you can see that straight red line, for the first 2 days we more or less followed that, and then the wind started to veer at this point, and then we tacked there, and the wind swung round almost 90 degrees on us, so even though I'm on the other tack, I'm going back along that line, which is fantastic. I'm doing just over 6 knots. And the first island here is where I was going, Santa Maria, but the boat's going really well, I'm feeling fine, so we're pushing up to this next island, and we should be there in about 26 hours, so this time tomorrow, which will be great. The wind's picked back up. I'll take you outside. We've put a reef in the mainsail, just the first one. And I took away some of the genoa because it was up to 20 knots again this morning, and it's calmed down a bit and the sun's come out, which is great because my batteries are only just lasting through the night with the laptop and the order helm, which have been running non-stop for 3 days now. But apart from that, the boat's going well, everything's good. Okay, outside we can get out without getting a bucket of water on our heads. This is the scene. Sailing hard on the wind again. The first 2 days. And we've been at 30 and 40 degrees to it there. But luckily this is what Molly Ober loves to do. Well, I don't know about loves, but she's very good at it. And it's quite breezy, 16 knots of wind. The sea's a little bit lumpy. But we're going well. We're hard pressed again, but I'm needing to be to pick the boat slows right down, so I've pulled out all the genoa. Make sure we make good progress, because we've still got something like, I think it was 160 miles to go, and it's a bit frustrating just doing 3 and 4 knots, so we're doing 6.5 at the moment, which is great. More or less dead at it. Oh. As you can tell, it's a bit tricky, but she's slamming into these waves. So that's where we've got to keep the speed up, keep the sail up, because otherwise the boat slows down as she hits these waves. She's doing 6.5, 7 knots, she punches through them, which is a bit jolty, but she keeps the momentum up then, which is better. Well, good evening. This is about 8 o'clock, Friday evening. My 4th night at sea, my 4th sunset. It's been a breezy day. The boat's been hammering away across the sea. Caught a fish about 6 o'clock, and actually slowed the boat down, took away most of the genoa there. got the boat down to about 3 knots so I could enjoy cooking it and then eating it without the boat rolling too much and slicing through the waves. Now enjoying a glass of wine, just the one. The wind's dying a little bit. I'm hoping for a gentle night, and again I've wound in a bit more of the Genoa. We're down to 4.5, 5.5 knots, which is how I'm going to leave it for the evening. Get a good night's sleep in, no dramas. And we should be there by about 6 o'clock tomorrow. It's been an excellent trip. I'm looking forward to getting there, but I'm also a bit sad for it to end. It's been really enjoyable. There's enough food and water on board for me to keep going for about another couple of weeks, I should think, but that'll be nice to see the Azores. And next wind I think I'll do some downwind sailing. It's hacking up into the wind at 30-40 degrees. Hard work on the boat and hard work on the passengers. The boat always leaning over and up and down. I'm looking forward to the stretch back to the Canaries, which should all be downwind. So yeah, it's been an excellent trip. I really enjoyed it. The boat's done very well. Touch wood. Still got 120 miles to go, but yeah, my last evening out here, starting to feel quite nostalgic already. Okay, catch you later.